Hey, honey?
Yeah, what's up?
Happy mardigras weekend, everybody! That's right. This Tuesday is Fat Tuesday. It's mardigras day, which means Wednesday I can take my normal commute back to work in the morning. But personal sides jokes aside, I'm going to show you how to make a king cake so you can have one for your celebration this Tuesday. So, go over the ingredients. We're going to need, as soon as I put them all in the bowl over here, 4 eggs, a stick and a half of melted butter, 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/3 of a cup of milk, a 1/4 teaspoon of lemon extract, 1/2 tablespoon of yeast, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. And let's start with the first step of getting this stuff all ready is to take our butter, we're gonna pop this in the microwave for 30 seconds to get it nice and melted. If you want to do this on a stovetop, go ahead and do it on a stovetop. Of course, while you're doing that on a stovetop, that's when you're going to scald your milk. But I am a professional barista, and I've got my espresso machine behind me. Sadly, we don't have a third camera yet to be able to show you the espresso cam. So I'm going to steam, just get this the bottom nice and warm. I'm not looking for a really hot on this milk to scald it, but I'm just going to get this going. So I ended up putting the butter in for a full 1.5 minutes on here, and it's a little bit too hot, I personally think, because if we mix this with our eggs and everything else, it's going to basically cook everything. So we're not going to skip all our milk. We're just going to add our milk into our butter. Make sure we get all of that in there. Use our milk to drop the temperature of our butter down somewhere close to room temperature, but we still want liquidy. Alright, that is nice and warm to the touch, but not hot. Because if you put hot in there, the yeast is just going to die right off the bat, and you're not going to get that levity. It's not going to rise up on you for you. So let's grab our bread machine, and we're going to put our butter and milk down into this. If you've got a big size fruit processor or a stand mixer with a dough hook, that would be perfect to do this step with. So we got that all in there, putting all of our spices straight in there. We're going to put our lemon zest in here. Like I said, if I got a bread machine, so I can throw everything in here. If you've got a food processor, you're definitely going to do the wet with wet, then put your dry together in a bigger bowl, mix it all up, and then add that in once you got all your wet together. But this bread machine is awesome. Works so good. I can just get a good mix of all my spices, sugars, yeast, and the rest of my wet all down in here. So we're just going to crack these eggs down in. Take a spoon or a fork and just break your yolks. Get everything good little stir. Got something that looks like a very interesting French toast mix going on down here. That's when you know you're ready to start adding in your flour. And I'm only going to add about 1/3 of this in so far. And I'm going to grab my dough hook, get this in, mix it in a third at a time. Just do it in stages. And I'll talk you through what we do after this. Actually, wait, after this, I'm just going to mix this together, a third of the flour at a time, until it's a good dough. I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. All right, so our dough has been mixed up. It's a wet dough, so it's kind of halfway between a bread dough and like cake dough. So we're just going to cover this up and let it sit and do its thing for the next hour and a half. So while that is doing its thing and rising, I am going to get working on the filling. All right, for the filling, you're going to need a small saucepan, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1/4 of a cup of bourbon, actually 2/3 of a cup, no, this is 1/2 a cup of raisins. Oh, I forgot the pecans. That's why I had that bowl over here. So 1/2 cup of raisins, 1/4 cup bourbon, teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 2/3 of a cup of pecans. Then we've got a teaspoon of ground cinnamon and 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. We're going to add this all in to our small saucepan, and over some low heat, we're going to cover this and let this become a sauce. Give it some stirs while it's going. Once it all fully melts, you'll be good. Just take it off of the heat, put it back on, take it off of the heat, and then once we get the dough ready, this is going to be our yummy king cake filling inside of our cake. So let's put this on to get some heat. All right, our dough has been rising for 90 minutes. I've grabbed some flour out of the cupboard just so I can flour up my silicone baking mat, and also my hands, because I know it's not going to stick to the silicone baking mat, but it's definitely going to want to stick to me. I'm just going to take the dough hook out. It's already starting to stick to my hand. I'm going to make sure I'm good and floured. Here, grab some more flour, sprinkle on the top of this. Oh yeah. Be good and floured. We can start coming in and getting this out. Alright. We're just going to start spreading this dough. Flip it over, get floured on both sides. We're going to work our way as far across as we can. Try not to get it ripped up in the middle there. If it does start ripping apart on you, just press it back together. And once you got a good solid sheet, basically almost the size of your cooking sheet, that's when you're going to grab those raisins and pecans and sugar and whiskey. It's all been sitting here. Now I just left it on. Been doing a lot of baking. I was making some bread and stuff, so I didn't even have to turn it on the burner. But you just want to get a little warm, and give it and got it stirred up. And I just left it over to the back burner on my stove on a little vent. One of your stove burners usually has a little vent tube that comes out of it. It's your perfect keep warm burner to use when you're baking. It definitely was working on some homemade brown bread this afternoon, so I was able to keep the heat coming up on this while I was baking those loaves of bread and the rolls. So we're just going to spread out our mixture here and try to get close to the edge as I can with this stuff. Alright. That over in the sink. Let that pan soak. And we'll just let the bread machine as well. I'm just going to slowly work my whole thing over. Oh, I got a little explosion out of there. And grab some dough off the end. Just kind of surgery pinch that back together. Get a little more flour here. Just kind of patch this back together. Oh, you know what? Traditionally, it's usually a round piece, but my dough is so fragile. Splitting open here. I'm just going to make a king cake log. Actually, I should be able to round it up here. All right, we got it. We're good. Let's round it up. Got some spillage out the sides. That's okay. We're not professional. This is a nice homemade one. You can pretty it up by, taking that off the side. You're gonna cover this whole thing in sugar and frosting. So we'll make it look pretty. We're gonna make it look pretty, but right now we're gonna get our oven already preheated to 350 degrees. I'm gonna take this and I am going to pop it in the oven for 40 minutes, and then, well, you're gonna decorate it. So join me in just a second for decorating a king cake. All right, in order to make our glaze, I needed to grab a half a cup of white sugar, powdered sugar. Hang on, I'm gonna redo this. 3, 2, 1. Okay, king cake has been baked, come out of the oven. Got my half a cup of powdered sugar here, and I am just going to add in 3 tablespoons of water. 1, 2, 3. Give this a quick little stir just to get my sugar all dissolved down into my glaze. Alright, now that I've got this all whisked up, there's a few more little bumps left in there. Now we're just going to brush this all over our king cake. Just get a nice little glaze going on. And we'll grab some sprinkles. Let's make sure to knock your sprinkles around just to get everything loosened up here a bit. Yellow, a little teal, a little blue. Traditionally, it would just be like the green, the gold, and the purple, but I don't have any purple. I got some dry spots in here. We don't have enough of that glaze to get our sugar to stick. Put a little red over on this side. And there you have it, a homemade king cake. Of course, you would cut a hole, cut a little hole in the bottom and hide the king cake baby. Or if you've got an actual gold bean to hide in there, you put that in with your filling when you got ready to bake it. But I don't really like putting plastic in our food, so until we get a reusable non-plastic bean or baby, we'll leave that out ourselves. But I hope you enjoy and whip out yourself up a king cake. for you to enjoy this Tuesday. So happy Mardi Gras, thanks for joining us, and peace!
Hey everybody, thanks for staying till the end of the episode. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook at Board Barista Productions. And if you want to support us, Patreon link at the bottom.